Hi, I'm Mitchell Levy, global credibility expert. And in the beginning, if you want to hear me address what happens when you show up differently than those in the room expect you to show up. Ooh, I like that question. At first, when Andrew sent me the questions, I was thinking, man, it's not, it can't be right. It's kind of a joke. And it wasn't that they were just interesting questions. So he asked two questions.
Hey, Mitch, when we spoke, you asked for two credibility questions, and I said that in my industry, people that wear mismatched socks are distrusted, and those that have monograms on their shirt sleeves on the wrist are distrusted. How do you feel about those two situations? Am I weird? Is it a quirk? Is it other industries that feel the same way?
Andrew, thank you so much for the question. So first of all, I'm going to say for most of us, if we have an opinion, we have a thought, we're not necessarily weird. It is our thought of what works and what doesn't work, either for us or the industry or for those around us. The fact that in your industry, there are those who, when they wear mismatched socks, are considered not credible, or actually, I kind of like mismatched socks, but let's put that aside. Or if they wear cufflinks, are considered not credible. It. What's interesting for every industry is what is common standard, what is norm, what do we expect to have happen. If somebody is working, great example, if they're working at a fast food place, um, and you come to the window of a fast food, you don't expect somebody to be in a suit and tie. If they are, you think they're the manager, right? If somebody knocks on your door on door-to-door sales, but they're dressed really slovenly, your expectations are going to be different. So what happens in terms of who you are and how you dress should be matched with the audience you're serving. And so that may mean, depending on who you're serving, you're going to dress differently. As a management consultant, walking into a company in Chicago, physically walking into a company in Chicago, you're going to be dressed differently than walking into a Silicon Valley company. Now, I learned that you always want to dress one step above. You want to be like the same, or maybe just a little bit more dressed than others. But that hasn't always proven to be in the case. And you look at some industry icons out there who dress in whatever they want to dress in for whatever reason they want to. But I'm going to say, if you're not the CEO of the company, if you're working inside the company yourself, you want to dress the way that is expected, that the company asked for. If you're the CEO of the company, you want to dress the way that your customers expect you to be dressed, right? And so if in your industry wearing mismatched socks is a sign of not being credible, by the way, a very cool poll is to do a LinkedIn poll or whatever poll your clients are on, to your clients saying, hey, what are list things that are credible, and say, hey, which of these things are credible or which of these things are not credible. See if actually people pick that out. See if that's really true, or that's your own personal opinion on whether or not something is credible or not. And it'll open up a whole large number of very fascinating conversations. The same sort of thing. A lot of times when people wear cufflinks, you're thinking about the Wall Street shark that wants to take money from you. That's sort of what runs through my mind. Is that true? I don't know. What's interesting is it true in the eyes and ears and the heart of the prospects and clients that you're talking to? So I'm going to go back to the common thought. Is a particular dress code required to be credible? And I'm going to say yes. And the dress code has to be the same or slightly above what your prospects, your clients would wear. Now, there are probably scenarios, if you go and are working in a nudist camp, that you may not want to, or you may not be capable, or you may need to find somebody who could actually work in a nudist camp. I'm not sure that's for me. And so the thing is, there are scenarios where if you can't dress the part of the clients, if you can't make the clients and your prospects feel comfortable with you because that you feel the same, you speak the same language, you wear the same clothing, you have the same heart, you have a common purpose, a common language, a common dress code. If you can't do that, is there somebody else on the team that can? Because to lose an opportunity simply because you can't match socks in the morning. By the way, for me, I'm not sure that's as big of a deal as potentially cufflinks. I only wear cufflinks on very special occasions in very special locations, and I probably wouldn't wear them to Greg Dixon. I can so imagine that your socks don't always match, and I would expect that from you. By the way, if I was going to be doing business with somebody and I expected their socks not to match, just like when somebody's doing business with me, if I walk into the room without the hat on these days, they're like, "Who is this guy?" Right? So it's part of my dress code. It's part of the code that people expect. It's one of those things that are really appropriate to create a level of comfort. That's probably the best way I'm going to leave it. Is you want to create a scenario, you want to create a situation, you want to create an environment where the levels of trust, remember, credibility is the quality in which people trust, know, and like you. And if they recognize you as quirky, they want you to come in as quirky, and part of wearing mismatched socks is quirky, then that's part of the code. If, on the other hand, they want you 100% perfectly done all the time, if that's not you, who else in the company can address that and deal with that? Because the being able to make sure that your clients are comfortable, once again, you're speaking a language that they're comfortable with. You have the same set of goals and values that they're comfortable with, that they actually do trust you because they know you, and they know you because you've opened up and shown yourself, not a misrepresentation of you as something else. So anyhow, very interesting question, Andrew. I thank you for asking it and letting me dive a little bit into it. Wearing mismatched socks or wearing cufflinks is not necessarily a bad thing. If it's a bad thing in your industry and it's a industry standard that you don't do that, then you don't do that. It's not across the board. It's not in all industries, but every industry has a set of industry standards that would be common. And your role in a perspective of serving is to come in a way that matches expectations. And I'm going to continue to think about if there's something else I'm missing. I'm looking forward to your thoughts and feedback. Are there things that are just quirky in your industry that immediately either bring on trust or immediately bring on distrust? I'd love to hear that about you. Thanks. Take care. Bye now.